Thank you. Wanglers.
We're obviously need less wine.
Wangles.
And I kind of hope it's wangless.
To make sure that we're sufficiently excited about money and capitalism, Xbox put on an event today. They showed off a lot of games that they spent a lot of money on, and boy oh boy, they sure look shiny, I think. Nobody really knows. They didn't show that much gameplay. But let's check it out, let's see what they actually got, let's see what they got, what's cooking, what's hot, what's in the kitchen. Come on, show us, gimme. The first game that Microsoft chose to show off for their new generation and their new console was the new Halo game, Halo Infinite. Now, if you've been living under a rock, it's been about 5 years since Halo came out. It's kind of dulled over the years. Not nearly as prestigious as it once was, and I think that Microsoft and 343 Industries is trying to reset, and they're trying to make it something that it can live up to the other games in the series. Since I love Halo, and I could probably talk it for about 7 hours, I'm going to do a separate video just going over Halo Infinite's reveal, pros, cons, things like that for the nerds out there that are just like me. But let's go over some bullet points. Something that I thought was very strange is that it says press start button to start demo, showing off that it's a demo, but there is no demo. There was no announcement of an actual time frame, and I really would like to see that. The second thing is that I'm very glad that 343 actually uses an opportunity to show off real gameplay. I would like to see more variation in gameplay. The third thing we got to talk about is this brute and his face. Whoa, that man. Every now and then too, you'll see some issues like texture popping and stuff like that. I do hope that they spend some more time polishing the game before it's released. It does remind me a lot of the first game, and there's other stuff that seems very interesting, like an open world sandbox where you can go. Potentially those rings in the very beginning are actually for fast travel. Who knows? It's very interesting. I am excited. I'm also just trying to be cautiously optimistic about what's probably my favorite video game franchise. I'm also not sure at what point in time the brutes got Thanos and they grew him a beard, but here you go. So I guess they have to fight Thanos, so that's going to be hard. No surprise here. Xbox is also using this as an opportunity to make another State of Decay game for the next generation of consoles. It looks okay. It might have the loudest sound design for some reason. Yeah, the games are okay. I didn't really like State of Decay 2 as much as I wanted to. And yeah, hopefully State of Decay 3 is cool. Loudest sound design. Why is it so loud? Dear God. With even more pro-consumer rhetorics, Phil Spencer comes swinging out of the gate, saying that everything that they talk about in the show is actually on Xbox Game Pass, just because he loves customers, and it's very strange to me. And yes, there is a new Forza game. Are you surprised? The answer is shocking, because it's not just Forza Motorsport 8. No, my friends, my furry friends, it's Forza Motorsport. That means, I don't know what that means. Apparently it's just a reimagining of the game series on the new hardware. I don't really understand that part of it. The next game that's shown in the showcase is Everwild. It's Rare's new game, and it looks pretty insane. It seems to revolve around a lot of magic. The art style seems to be very distinct. I love Sea of Thieves. Not at launch, but they've really added to it, and I love Rare. I hope that this is something that's a reason to buy the new Xbox, or a reason to really invest in their ecosystem. Looks very interesting, looks very charming. We'll have to check it out. This game is a game from Dontnod. They're the same studio that did Life is Strange, and you can tell by basically looking at the art style within a second. This is a very interesting game. I'm not really sure what it's about. The trailer seems to be like you can see emotions, and they leave an imprint on what happens. There seems to be a tragic event that happens with the mom character and her kids. So anyway, the game's called Tell Me Why. Comes out August 27th, and yeah, seems very interesting. Does not look very visually impressive, and doesn't seem like something that's really a next-gen series. I guess we'll just have to check it out when it comes out. Some of the biggest questions around the new Xbox is how is it actually going to improve performance, and it looks like you're either trying to hit 4K 60 or maybe even higher frame rates. The director of technology behind Moon Studios, the studio that makes Ori, they came out and they said, hey, we can now deliver this game in HDR at 120 frames a second. This is especially important because of how hard and precise the actual platforming is in the game. Also, they can work and improve the audio because that functionality is not there in the Xbox One version of the game or on the PC versions of the game that they developed at the same time. Like I said before, it's strange that Xbox seems to care about about their consumers so much, but hey, I'm not going to complain. At least one video game company cares about us. I think this would be very interesting to see if they could get the 120 frames for fighting games, stuff like that, where it's almost frame perfect. This is the first example we really see of smart delivery, where there's a game that you buy on the past consoles, and then hey, what do you know, it's improved as soon as we throw it over the new console. Very customer friendly. I'm a little suspicious. Maybe I'm just too jaded. Obsidian and Private Division have announced the new DLC expansion for the Outer Worlds. It is called the Peril of Gorgon, and it seems like it's an asteroid planet that you go to, and there's all kinds of fun things to do. One of my favorite parts about the game is how unserious Obsidian takes it, and how they make it kind of fun for the people who are just playing the game. We don't need another dark, gritty game. And hey, it looks pretty cool. It's not a next-gen thing, and it makes it kind of look dated just because it was already a little bit of a jank fest. But hey, it's another RPG, and you can't be mad. If you like RPGs, you gotta like this. It's good news. Good news for everyone. For some reason, Obsidian also made a game called Grounded that comes out July 28th. It seems like it's a survival game where you have to fight against bugs as small children in your backyard. Not really sure why this happened. It seems funny, and it seems as though Obsidian is aware of how ridiculous it is in the first place that they're even doing this. They're constantly making fun of it. In the trailer, they're like, hey, if you want to play the world's biggest game, it's probably Cyberpunk 2077, but you can play this instead while you're waiting. Or from the makers of games that are nothing like this. Like, it seems like it has a fun tone to it, so perhaps it's good. It could also not be great. We'll see. Who knows? Interesting idea, I guess. We always like original ideas. Since everyone was waiting for Obsidian to actually reveal an RPG game, they did. The game is called Avowed. There's no gameplay shown. There's a very pretty CGI trailer. All kinds of stuff. Fire, smoke, arrows. Besides the actual CGI of some bad guys that get hit with arrows, you have almost no idea what's happening. It looks like almost a take on Skyrim or something. There's some runic stuff the guy does with his hands. I guess we'll just have to wait and see when there's something more concrete there. Could be good, could be not good. Really wish that they give us more gameplay. The next game that's discussed is described as an interactive drama. It does look like it has a very unique and different approach to the art style. The game is called As Dusk Falls. And yeah, it looks pretty interesting. No idea what it's about. Also, is robbing banks a good idea? It's never seemed like it's a good idea. Just don't rob banks. Ninja Theory seems like they're hard at work making the new Hellblade game, and I would not like to meet that lady in a dark alley. I think that she's gonna murder me. The designs are really original and refreshing in this game, and if you haven't played the first game, it is on Game Pass. Go get it. Go check it out. Go play it. Go have a good time. Psychonauts 2 has been rumored to be in development forever and ever and ever. This is exactly that. This meets my expectation perfectly of what I would like to see in the Psychonauts 2. The game seems very, very out there. The soundtrack is featuring Jack Black whispering to me as I experience psychedelic trips through time and space. Look at that. It's just a very interesting looking game from what we can see here and what I've also heard being demoed at E3 in 2018. I think 2019 as well. The game looks very promising. Please, please don't get canceled. Lord have mercy. Bungie is also bringing Destiny 2 and all of the other things to Game Pass. Cool, I guess. The real cool thing is that Destiny 2 is going to be on the xCloud service when it launches, so you can finally play Destiny from sitting on the toilet on your phone, you degenerates. Stalker 2 is apparently in development, which is pretty neat. We all can get behind a little bit of Pripyat action going on. There was no gameplay, so it's kind of hard to tell if it's still true to its roots. I do think that it would work really well. However, we just have to wait and see. Everyone liked the first Stalker. Also, don't walk into some rooms. Apparently, they just totally erupt in electricity if you happen to have any metal in them. Also, watch out for the babies that they're growing in some kind of test tubes. Those seem bad. The next game that's demoed is from the developers behind Warhammer Vermintide. Seems like it's some kind of cyberpunk mixed with Left 4 Dead. This game itself is called Warhammer 40k Darktide, which is very similar to Vermintide. Something that is sorely missing from today's video game landscape is something that's a fun co-op game like Left 4 Dead, or even like Vermintide. I hope that this really gets popular and catches on. Warhammer 40k and the subsequent games seem to kind of hit their niche audience and not really get outside of that, but this looks like they're putting some AAA love behind it. Very interesting to see where this goes. The next game is just fun. It's just Tetris Effect, and they're coming out with a bunch of DLC on next gen. Not really first party, but just something fun, something different. Gotta love it. I hope this means eventual VR support, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know if the next game is really my kind of game. The game is called, quote-unquote, The Gunk. It seems like you are running around a world cleaning up some kind of space debris with your space vacuum cleaner, and that space debris can also then become evil monsters. It doesn't seem very interesting to me. I think I just need to actually get my hands on it and try it out. It looks very visually stunning and unique, but maybe not my cup of tea. The next game that Microsoft talked about is called The Medium. It was something that they talked about briefly when they had their Xbox presentation in either late May or early June. It seems like it's been 20 years because 2020 is one hell of a year. Anyway, this game seems very interesting because you are a medium, so you can go in between the real world and almost the spirit world or something like that. There's probably a better name that's not. I don't make games. That's a terrible name. Don't call it the spirit world. The game does seem like you have two different things going on at once, which might be a lot to take in. Some of the art looks pretty intense and like something that would be in Hellraiser. Bloober did an excellent job on actually making the last game they did, which was the Blair Witch Project. The Blair Witch Project was very scary, genuinely scary, at least it was to me, and it was a short, enjoyable experience, something that I would define as a AA game. I played it at PAX, and it was pretty brief at that point in time, but still was scary in an auditorium full of people. Hope we see what Bloober can do, but I really am holding out for some kind of gameplay to actually demonstrate how both screens on the same screen work. This next one straight up confuses me, because they say it's Phantasy Star 2, which I thought was already out, and I think it's just a new expansive world that they're putting into Phantasy Star Online 2, even though it looks graphically much better than Phantasy Star Online 2, or PSO2, and watching live, I thought it was PSO3. I guess if you want to get more anime things on, more anime MMOs, go for it. You can do it now on the Xbox Series X. There you go. Good news for you weebs. Remedy Entertainment is actually developing a first-person game for Microsoft called Crossfire X. Apparently, it's a first-person military shooter, and the storytelling is supposed to be very interesting. One of my favorite games from 2019 was Control, which is developed by Remedy. In the actual demo, it looks like there's some kind of bullet time features. The use of color is very vibrant and actually looks like it's visually distinct and not just a Call of Duty clone. Also, it seems to give off some flavors of Metal Gear, at least the Metal Gear 5, where you have you can switch in between action and then not action, and there seems to be some other stuff that's kind of going past just shooting. Apparently the multiplayer is not even being developed by Remedy but by a different company, so they can focus entirely on the campaign. And it is supposed to release in 2020, so here's hoping it's good. Our boy Matt Booty, which I still think has one of the most unfortunate names, goes over all this stuff from the conference and you're like, no, you still need to announce things. No, Matt Booty, please, Mr. Booty, please. Then he drops this baby on you. That's right, baby, it's Fable. So this looks like a reimagining of the entire series. So no more Fable 4. They can kind of just retcon the rest of it however they want. Fable's maybe one of the more interesting games, especially from the time period. I think 2005 was when the actual original game launched. There was economies, there was player decisions, there was real estate, there was areas you could fast travel to, morality decisions, puzzles. So many things that revolutionized the way we look at games. For the love of all that's holy, please make this just as good as the first one somehow. I don't know how. Playground Games is probably the British studio who could do it the best. Very hype. Chicken Chaser! How fast this fairy gets eaten also seems to perfectly set the tone for this game. In terms of the actual report card you would be getting as Xbox, I don't know, did they get like a B-? A lot of the stuff that they showed today was cool. It was a lot of very interesting CGI trailers. I don't think that the community could have made it more abundantly clear last time this happened to Xbox that they didn't want any more of those anymore. And when I was watching this, there was a lot of games that I was very interested in that they talked about. Like the Hellblade 2 game. They didn't show anything from the game except here's when we went to this place and we looked around the island. We looked at Iceland. Hey guys, Iceland's really cool. Look at these cool pictures and check out the other game. Yeah? Cool? That doesn't really tell me anything about the game. If I was to tell you I'm buying an Xbox Series X and then you told me, well, Chris, what games are you buying for your Xbox Series X? I'd say, I guess we'll have to see which ones are worth my time. I think that COVID has been a really big factor in a lot of the things that Microsoft and its game studios have been doing as Xbox game studios. It must be very hard to try to do all these team-based things without actually talking to people and being there in person. E3 is going to become a thing of the past. I don't need them to come and tell me what's happening. I don't need Microsoft to tell me things are happening. Look, I need them to tell me, look, here's what you can buy for real, and it's going to be available in 6 months. I am excited to play them, don't get me wrong. I really would like to get something hands-on. Even something like Halo Infinite. There's no beta announced. We saw 0 multiplayer aspects. I'm going to do another video on that later, but I don't think that they learned what they did wrong last time enough. And I hope that people are excited about these games and it doesn't end up giving them some other unnecessary backlash. If you guys enjoyed the video, please like, comment, subscribe. If you didn't, please dislike, still comment, still subscribe, still do everything else. Bye bye. Goodbye. Bye.